Guys, I'm a man of my word. I want to be doing 2 of these aggression talks a week, but I want to make sure that I'm not just putting out content just because. Oh, look, there's another satin black Urus just like mine, except it's not lowered and there's no body kit and it's not tuned, but you know, distractions. I think that's what's going to be hardest about this is I really want to find a spot like my old aggression talk spot where, you know, there's no external stimuli. Right now, holy shit, another black Urus. See, in Miami, bro, it's just like surrounded by fucking Lamborghinis everywhere you go. There's literally 2 black Uruses. Obviously, mine's the best looking one, but, you know, and I'm sitting in a black Urus right now. But there's external stimuli everywhere. And where I used to be, where I used to, you know, make the aggression talks, it was quiet. There was nothing going on. Right now, there's a fucking fire alarm going on. There's people driving by. It's bright outside because it's 8 a.m. I just did my 2-hour active recovery morning routine, which took me a little bit longer than usual, because I did abs, I did my hip flexor stretch, I did cardio, then I did cold plunge sauna. And the reason why it's bright outside is, you know, I woke up 4:25, did my morning routine, got a little bit of work done, and then drove here. And it's a 25-minute drive because I'm in South Beach. But I think that what's happening right now with these aggression talks, when I first sat down in my mind, my brain was like, oh, yo, you got to go to somewhere where there's nothing going on, you know, you got to do this and this. And I was like, no. My brain wanted to be like, oh, it has to be like old times. And I'm like, no. I've moved to a new level. If I can't make aggression talks while there's people walking around and there's shit going on and I can't focus on what I'm doing, then I haven't gotten to that next level. So instantly, as soon as I went to make the video, my brain is providing resistance. But it's a good analogy of Miami. You want to stay focused on what you're doing, but there's so much going on. There's so much pulling your attention away, and you have to build up even more mental resilience to stay focused. But that's what makes you a better entrepreneur. That's what makes you a more disciplined man. And the rule of the game is discipline. Discipline is the #1 rule of the game. And in today's day and age that we live in, life is becoming more and more easy and less requiring of discipline. It used to be, if you weren't disciplined, you died. If you live in fucking Iceland and you don't store up food for the winter during the summer, October comes around, you're dead, right? You had to be disciplined. So it was a natural human bodily response to be disciplined. People were disciplined by nature because there was no other option. Now you've got fucking McDonald's, right? Now it doesn't matter. Now we have softwares and businesses that take care of this for you, that do that for you. You've got social media, you've got your phone. You can order shit on Amazon 1 day, 2 days. Back in the old days of business, shit took way longer. You didn't have access to resources at your fingertips. You didn't have this global arbitrage economy where you could connect to customers all over. You had to do everything within the power of the people that you knew in your network. And I think that that's a massive lesson that we can pull from this because, you know, I want to make sure I'm putting out the most highest quality, like I said, aggression talks. But there's so many lessons to be learned that I can make aggression talks about instead of just having, you know, just content coming out. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing aggression talk, podcast styles. These car talks, I'm just going to put good titles on them and not have, you know, aggression talk at the end. But at the end of the day, that's still what it is. This is an aggression talk, and you're here to learn how to make more money and how to become a better man, a top 1% man, right? The biggest thing that I have found is that, look, on the inside, I want to be humble, right? I was raised in the South. My roots are from humility, but humility does not portray the man that you want to be. It doesn't. And it's hard to hear, but you cannot create a good brand if you're just completely humble all the time. I'm 20. I'm driving a fucking Lambo, the hardest Lambo in Miami. If you've seen it, it's satin black. It's got a $60,000 1016 wide body kit. It's tuned. It's got an exhaust. It's lowered. It's fast as shit. It's on gold rims. It looks like the Batmobile, right? It's sick. My girlfriend's 26. She's hot. I have a business. I live in Miami. I'm jacked. I can communicate well. I have all these things. But what comes with building those things is a sense of entitlement. And this is what I've found recently. I've got a lot of my elite coaches who, some of them have way more followers than me. I've got clients that have, 2,000 followers, and I've got clients that have 250,000 followers, right? So I have tons and tons and tons of different coaches, FBA coaches, trading coaches. I mainly specialize in fitness coaches because that's what I've done. But the marketing systems through Instagram and YouTube are the exact same across the board. We're trying to captivate Instagram traffic, send them to YouTube, and have YouTube viewers watching stories and converting, right? That's what we're trying to do, and that's how I make my coaches more money. But what I've seen is after someone makes money, what happens is they lose the basics. And I found that it all comes back to personal development. I posted a reel yesterday, and it was me driving the Lambo. I have my Glock right here, and I was like, life, once you realize that everything stems from mindset. And it does. But the thing is, you have to have building blocks to put on top of the mindset. Once you're in the beginning, when you have a massive deficit, and I know you guys that have made money that I'm talking to, like, you know what I'm talking about. You have so much drive and so much motivation because you're running from that pain and you're running towards a goal. But once you satiate that pain, once you make your first 10K, once you make your first 12K, it feels good. And now you can pay for food, you can buy some nice stuff, right? You don't feel broke anymore, but you'll realize so fucking fast that $10,000 a month is not shit. $20,000 a month is not shit. I couldn't even live if I was making $30,000 a month. And I don't spend that much fucking money. I have consignment clothes, right? I don't really care. I like cars, I like to eat good food, and I like to have good gym memberships, right? And I'll buy some designer stuff here and there, but just like accessories, I've got some Dior shoes on. I'm wearing Young LA pants. But it's so easy to, once you get there, become comfortable at that level. And I want to let you know right now, if you're comfortable making $10,000 or $15,000, that shit is nothing. It's not good enough. Here in Miami, we'll spend $1,000 on dinner for 2 people. I take my girl out, $1,000. I fly her here first class from Atlanta, $1,500. Like, it's not, you got to understand that the money that you're making at 10K, it's not enough. And not for a materialistic point of view. It's not a constant pursuit of needing more, but it's the inputs. The inputs that it's taking you to get to 10K, it's not hard. Don't think that you're special. It takes a different kind of person to go from 10 to 15K to 25 to 30K. Anyone, a stupid motherfucker with enough time and discipline, can make $10,000 to $15,000 a month online. Don't think you're special because you've done that. It takes a different kind of human being to go to 25, 35, 50, 70, or like me, 6 figures a month. That's a completely different level of drive. That's a completely different level of ambition, of sacrifice, of discipline, of consistency, of just fucking sometimes being a psychopath. You have to almost be slightly crazy and slightly insane to get to that level of success. And I'm going to ask you, do you have what it takes? Are you willing? Because it's very easy to get 15K a month. Go out to the dinners, take your girl out, go start hanging out with girls, start enjoying the nice things, and flatline. And money's a lagging indicator, so that might last you a few months. But then it starts to trickle down, and then it starts to trickle down, and then it starts to trickle down. But you're used to the lifestyle, so you're still spending. You need to be stacking cash, loads of cash. Stacking before you get some shit like the Lambo. When I bought the TRX, I had been stacking like 30K months with no expenses for months. Nobody knew that. I was driving the Acura for like months while having plenty of money. I'd been making money. Nobody knew because I didn't want anyone to know. When I was weak, I appeared strong. And when you're the strongest, you should appear weak because people will start to take advantage of you. But the only reason I was able to appear strong is because I held myself to a strong standard. I still wake up at 4:25. But I'm going to tell you guys something. The reason I said the rule of the game is discipline is because recently I haven't been in that flow that I was in like back in December. And it's unfortunate because I moved here. I didn't have a dresser for my clothes. I didn't have a bedside table. I had like an old bed, and I know it sounds funny, but part of the biggest thing that drives me forward is cleanliness and organization. All my clothes being folded perfectly in my drawer. Having my nightstand with my alarm so that both of my phones can be across the apartment in my office. And then my alarm's the one that goes off, so I'm not on my phone for the first hour and a half of the day, right? And having my light so I can read at night, you know, having everything just like clean is what like carries over into my mind. It carries over into my business, carries over into my work day. And people don't understand that. And I didn't have a dresser. I didn't have a bedside table. I didn't even have like chairs in my kitchen because I was like, all I need to focus on is my work. But I was having to like fold all my clothes, put them in my closet, like on the ground, and all these tiny little things. I know it sounds so small, but I'm going to show you why it's so important here in a couple minutes. They started to break my flow. Every time I walk into my room, I see my clothes on the ground. I see like an empty room that I stopped reading at night just because I didn't have a desk and I didn't want to get up out of bed. And then, you know, all these little excuses that I started to make, and I still woke up at 4. I still did my journaling. But I started to just lose that edge that I had. And last night I finally got a dresser set and everything. I just bit the bullet. I drove to Fort Lauderdale because I didn't want to order one of these piece of shit Amazon or like Wayfair desks that you put together with like a bunch of screws. Those are shitty. I wanted like real wooden furniture, like solid, that you would have in like a house. And so I drove in the TRX because I've got both. I've got the Urus and I have the TRX. I parked them back to front, so I just have both the wide bodies in my building. But I drove to Fort Lauderdale. I picked them up. I came back, and the feeling of like of just absolute alignment that I had when I finally got all my clothes put back in my drawer. And last night I was able to sit and I was able to read and fall asleep and then wake up to my alarm, do my morning routine, make my coffee. And I post all of this on my Instagram every single morning so that I can hold you guys accountable, you guys that follow me. I finally felt realigned, and I was like, this is it. These small things that I've been missing. And I had a call with one of my elite guys. His name is Jake. He's doing about 20K a month right now, and he's got 15,000 followers on Instagram. We had a call the other day for like 90 minutes. A lot of these coaches are like, oh, one-on-one calls, and they throw you in a... I actually take one-on-one calls with all of my elite clients. But again, I mean, my elite coaching starts at 5K. So these guys are paying a lot of money, but I'm making them. I'm adding $12,000 a month to their business minimum. So we had this like 90-minute long call, and we're going over, you know, his consistency with his stories, his consistency with posting, and, you know, why he's not having that conviction, why he's not able to speak the same way he used to last summer in his videos anymore. And it boiled down to the root of his habits again, right? And as much as when you make money, you want to think you have the habits mastered, you never have it mastered. You have to do them over and over and over and over again. 1 week of missing and you can literally go right back to the man that you used to be. You have to stay in congruence with your habits. The morning routine is what gives you the conviction to speak like I do. If I hadn't woken up at 4:25 for almost 500 days, I wouldn't be able to speak the way that I do. When I'm driving my Lambo around Miami, I'd feel like a fraud if I didn't have this massive story behind me. Everywhere I go, I carry this essence of confidence because it comes from the competence of knowing I sacrificed everything to get here. I worked my ass off to get here. Every day I pour my heart out into my clients. I pour my time and put my soul into my clients' businesses, making them loads of money, which makes me more money. The equation always works and balances like that, but you have to sacrifice to be able to pour out emotion into others. And if your business isn't doing what you want it to do and it's being promoted on social media, which if your business isn't on social media, what the fuck are you doing? You're working backwards. You have to have the conviction that is needed to start changing the beliefs of the people that are consuming you. The only way to change beliefs of the people who are watching your stuff is by having so much conviction in what you're speaking that it starts to pull on their heartstrings. The same way that I've done in my aggression talks previously. You might have a motherfucker that believes he needs 8 hours of sleep to function. And you go watch my video about 8 hours of sleep is bullshit. The only reason I can speak with that much conviction, I'm not just some fucking weirdo. I can't just like scream for no reason. It's because I care. It's because I was in the midst of, like 200 days of waking up at 4:25 in the morning without miss. And I've gone through the mental battles. The reason I can not call them out, but call them up, the people on my story, about why they're not making the money that they should be making in their business, is because I've been there. I've been there struggling to make 10K a month. I've struggled to make 20K a month. I've struggled to make 50K a month. I've been there. And I still hold myself to the same habits. And I'm always increasing my standard. So do not let the money make you entitled. Don't ever think that you can outgrow the habits that got you to where you're going. Should you revise them? Sure. I don't journal anymore about, the way that I feel on the inside. Most of my journaling is about my relationship with God and, the gratitude that I have for my position and the leadership that I need to have. So those things are changing, but the simple habit of journaling doesn't change. The simple habit of putting every single ounce of effort I have into my reps at the gym doesn't change. The simple habit of pouring my heart out on these aggression talks doesn't change. I see so many people copy the aggression talks, and you know why they don't do good? Because they're just raising their voice and speaking. They're not speaking from the heart. I feel my words flow out into the camera when I'm speaking, because I'm not speaking to form some, version of me that's not true. I'm being authentically me, and I'm giving it to you guys. Every single word you speak about your business, through your personal development journey, when you speak about yourself and the goals that you're going to have, I will make $30,000 next month. When you speak that into existence, it needs to be backed by action. And you need to speak it from the heart. You don't need to just try and create this persona of yourself. You need to become the person and display that person. There is no such thing as finding your niche. You are your niche. Like, how do I create my niche? It was created when you were born. It was created when you had that obsession when you were little with, Legos, or, with paintball, or with all these little things, or with building, or, I used to run through, barefoot through houses that were being constructed when I was little, living in Alabama. I spent all my time barefoot out in the woods, just in my imagination, thinking about my future. And that's why I had such a desire for freedom. All these things that make me me, I speak about them. I'm not sitting here and being like, my niche is 20 to 25-year-old men who want to make money. My niche is those who have the discipline or desire the discipline that I have. My niche is those who have gone through the problems that I've already conquered, and me talking about the mental frameworks that I've used to get me through them. Me talking about the battles I have in the morning still. The battles with gratitude, even though I have my dream car, even though I'm living in Miami. The battles with, feelings of like, am I successful enough, even though I'm like a top 0.001% man. The vulnerability and the ability to have credibility towards that is what makes your business more money. Stop focusing on going viral. Stop focusing on what other people are doing. Focus on your story. How can you bring more of it out? How can you pinpoint exact moves that you made and how you mentally forced yourself to make them? And then things will start going the way that you want them to go. But never lose sight of the habits. The sacrificial morning routine. Don't just do it to check the box. Do it to the best of your ability. I journal with fucking passion. I don't give a fuck what that sounds like. I put my effort into the page. Because every word and every action that comes out of my body, how you do anything is how you do everything. I want to journal the same way that I'm going to speak to my clients. I want to make a story the exact same way I'm going to make Aggression Talk YouTube videos. I want to have the intensity in the gym the same way I'm going to like intensely love my girl. I want to put passion, I want to put drive, I want to put emotion into everything that I do. If you're a man and you're trying to have this nonchalant, I'm Batman, one post, da-da-da-da. There's a reason why you see the guys that do that were either given their wealth, they hate themselves, or they make no fucking money and all they do is just repost videos of guys living Lamborghinis, like driving Lamborghinis and shit. Stop trying to do that. You do not get gifted when you withhold yourself. You get gifted when you pour yourself out. Do not lose sight of the habits. Don't let the money entitle you thinking your little 15K a month that you made is some shit. I'll make that in a day. I'll make that in a day, and I hope that hurts. Your whole entire month, I'll make that in a day. Some people's whole entire fucking year, I'll make that in a month. All the people that said, oh, you need to go to college. Guess what? My sister got married the other day, and I pulled up in the fucking Lambo. And selfishly, I loved the way that my family members who told me I was going to regret not going to college, who would always be like, well, how's the little social media thing, huh? How's the influencer thing going, huh? Yeah, you'll never have a business doing that. I loved the way that their faces went pale when they saw me pull up in the Lambo. No hard feelings. Hey, how's it going? Give them a hug. Great to see you, right? That's power. It's okay. They didn't believe in me, but I did. They couldn't see the vision that I had. So I had to show them. They didn't see my habits. They were sleeping, I was up. And the same thing with the other coaches. They're sleeping talking about, guys, you want a life like this? I wake up whenever I want. The fuck? You're gay. It's so fucking like I don't care if any of the people that I speak about watch this. I would say it to their face. The problem is they don't act like themselves around me. They don't. All these coaches, guys, the reason why they go viral is because they're able to give more surface level stuff that's more consumable by more people. There's a reason I'm making 6 figures a month with only 11,000 Instagram followers. My stuff is less consumable, but it's more targeted towards the guys that can actually think. All of my clients are killers. They'll sell people that are fucking stupid. I won't. I want every person that comes into my elite business group to raise the bar, not lower it. Because if you're a killer and you buy into my program and you see it's just a bunch of fucking retards, what does that do for my brand? Everyone inside my group thinks like me. We all level each other up. So I make less money in the short term, but in the long term, I build something that will never, ever die. And you have to think about that with everything that you do. Yeah, you might get a little bit more stuff done if you cut some corners. You might get a little bit more stuff done if you go to the gym quickly. You hit, you go through your reps, you make some videos and you don't put all your effort into it. But I cut 0 corners. I put every single ounce of effort I have into anything. And compounding over a long enough time, eventually in one day, my inputs equate more than you can even output in 1 week or 1 month. Because they're so polished. And no effort goes to waste. Stick to the habits. Cut no corners. Do everything you do with passion. Put intention behind every action that you have. And the money will start to flow. Money is just a transfer of value. And it falls into the hands of those who it believes will wield it the best. If you're just a worker, if you're a cog in the system, of course you're only worth $1,000 a week. You're replaceable. You don't move much money around in the economy. I make the coaches that pay me a high ticket price more money, which stimulates the economy to a very, very small degree. I'm not saying that, I'm some big macho man, but for 20 and for my business, I get paid for the value I provide and the problems that I solve, as does everyone. So if you're stuck at 15K a month, number one, delete that sense of, you've done anything, because I'm telling you right now, bud, you haven't done shit. I trust me, I know. I was there when I made 15K and I was like, holy shit. I was nothing, okay? Still nothing. Making 6 figures a month. There's guys that make, 6 figures in a day, right? It's another level. There's always someone who's doing better than you, but you want to learn from the person who's right above where you're at, who was just there, because they're the most related to your problem. You don't want to go fucking buy Andrew Tate's one-on-one mentorship when you're at which he doesn't have one, but when you're at $5,000, because he can't even relate to, he'll spend $5,000 in a day, no problem. He might spend $5,000 in an hour, so he can't relate to where you're at. But when you invest in information and you're pouring yourself out into your habits, you're sacrificing, you're putting emotion into teaching other people, and you don't cut corners, every single solitary day, the compounding effect will lead to your inevitable success, your inevitable growth. And I want you to take that mindset and I want you to apply it to the week. And I want you to start taking stories and tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description below. And if you're looking to either start your personal brand in your coaching business because you have a transformation, you either have gotten in amazing shape, or you've broken vices and you've created a new life for yourself and you want to teach that to others, fill out there's a Calendly in my description. You can book a call with my team. It won't be with me, but you'll be able to speak to me if you get accepted. As soon as you get accepted, I do all of my one-on-one calls, right? It's one-on-one coaching. Every single person has a one-on-one dashboard. There is a course, there's group calls, but there's a massive one-on-one aspect, and that's why my results on Instagram are so good. But if you want to add $12,000 a month minimum to your current revenue within 120 days, go book out through the same exact link. Just fill out your information a little bit different, put your Instagram. I'll check it out personally. And if your call doesn't get canceled, that means you're qualified enough to jump on a call with me. But at the end of the day, I want to see you guys interacting with me. Go on my Instagram, tag me in your videos, tag me in your morning push-ups, tag me when you're working on your business. I want to interact with you guys, right? The number one thing that I fucking hate, and this is the number one sign that someone's going to be a loser, is when they look for an answer to something that they ask for an answer to something that can be found out themselves, but they don't go look for it. They don't go look for it. I've had people be like, hey bro, how do I overcome this? I've made 5 videos about it. I'm not going to answer your fucking message because you didn't take the time to go and look through my videos to watch, right? There's so much free value. When I bought my first mentorship, I had $7,000 in my bank account, and I had been working my ass off, and I was fucking 18. God, it's so funny, and some of you guys are 26, and you don't even have a few $1,000s to invest in your future, which baffles me, right? There's 17. I had a 17-year-old join my program yesterday for $5K, and he had literally just saved all that money, all his money in his bank account, and he's about to start ripping. Because he understands that why would you have $5,000 in your bank account that's just getting eaten away by inflation when you can deploy that $5,000 against information from me that's going to teach you how to make $12,000 a month for the rest of your life, or $20,000 a month for the rest of your life. Fuck, he might even make $50K a month if he actually sticks to it, right? Because he's starting from zero. But that's the same mentality that I had. Well, I've got $7,000 in my account, and I finally paid off all this debt from my old businesses, FBA, e-com, the candle business, all this stuff. I really don't want to spend the $7,000 because it's going to make me uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, what's the $7,000 doing? I had expenses, but the $7,000 is just sitting there getting eaten away by inflation and giving me a blanket of comfort. The government tells you to save, right? Don't save money. Learn how to turn the money that you're saving into more money. That's financial literacy. That's the knowledge of the wealthy. They tell you to save so that you sit there and you stay in the same fucking position forever. And then you're 60 and you retire with, $1 million. You think $1 million is going to do much for you when you have 20 years left to live? Hell no. You're going to live a shitty fucking retirement. I know so many people that do that. And I spent that $7K on a true $10,000 mentorship. And I put $3,000 on my credit card, and I watched it max out, and I watched my bank account almost hit zero, and I had rent to pay, I had food to buy. I was shitting my pants. I didn't even have a stable income. You guys have a stable income and you want to balance your coaching business on top of it. Those are the number one where I don't understand why. Like, you just want to be like broke forever if you can't invest in that. I didn't even have a stable income, and I was still willing to invest, and it was scary, but that blanket of comfort coming off of me, and the information that I received, I learned how to, I turned that 10K into, or that 7K plus the 3K of debt that I took on in my credit card into probably over $150,000 because I did that. That's the mindset that you have to have. And I knew that my habits, I knew that me not cutting corners, and I knew that me putting all of my passion and intention behind my effort on top of that information was going to serve me for the rest of my life. And look what it's done. I'm able to make people tens of thousands of dollars, life-changing money for the rest of their life when they invest in my program, and help them understand the fundamentals of mindset, personal development, and the fact that your habits are the #1 input that will dictate the outputs for the rest of your life. I love you, boys. Stay aggressive.